Hello and welcome back to Organ Makers. Today we're going to restore this blue chair with paint falling off of it, and we're going to start by taking it apart. All the hardware was pretty well rusted out. Part of the fun of living on the Oregon coast is salt air and rust. It's crazy how things rust here. So the back slats are coming off pretty well. The seat slats require a little work. There I'm using my Duresta ice pick to kind of get the rust and paint out of the screws. It's working fairly well. I'm going to have some trouble here in a minute and just kind of keep working at try not to break the screw. The customer who I'm doing this for wanted new hardware, so I'm not being too careful, and now I've gone to my easy outs to try to get these screws out. For some reason these screws were like super hard as well. The easy outs just aren't working very well. So I'm gonna switch tactics here and drill them out. And not succeeding very well with that either. And trying a bigger drill bit this time. And time to break out the multi-tool. So just ended up cutting those screws off. And this chair is very old. You can see like the paint on the table here, all the paint chips, just touching it, the paint was just flaking off. So mix of screw sizes there. And we're going to replace them all with shiny new stainless steel screws. Okay, now let's just kind of smooth the paint over. I'm not stripping the paint here. I still want this chair to have its character of it's an old chair. My customer got it from a friend, and I think making it look totally brand new was not the way to go here. I think we need to have some of those memories still with the piece here. So the paint that's just flaking off, I'm knocking it off and just kind of smoothing everything else out. So initially I was just going to fix this chair. There was some broken pieces that had fallen off that I put back on, and then my customer wanted me to go ahead and paint it for her. So I'm going in there, and everywhere there was a crack, I'm fixing. And all the little flaws, I've kind of added filler and sanded through. This bottom rocker was pretty bad. The part that I fixed is over here. That whole top curved part had come off. Just basically a split in the wood. So put that together and put some nails in there as well that I've covered up. And then if I'm going to replace the hardware, I'm going to replace this stuff too. This is the bracket that kind of lets it fold. And all new shiny stainless steel hardware for that too. So prepping for paint, my go-to, denatured alcohol. Just getting all the sanding dust off. It really was incredible how much paint came off of this chair. And I do kind of like that gray and blue color. But this is the color the customer picked, and it took me a while, but I do like it. It's darker than I thought it was going to be. And just taking all the pieces apart that's why I took the rocker off, is to paint it to get into the brackets and stuff. And I did 2 coats on most things, 3 coats on other things. The challenge of painting a folding chair. All the parts are not visible when the chair is folded or when the chair is unfolded. So you have to kind of paint it both ways and also paint it partially folded. So I got pretty good at balancing this chair kind of partially open so I can get all the spots that I needed to get. Basically 2 cans of paint, and I used every last bit of that paint. Alright, now putting it back together. Got the new shiny hardware and getting the rocker back on. And there's washers in between there to kind of give it some movement, so I had to just fine tune the screws to get that tension that I wanted. And then through this whole process I kept the slats in order and oriented the right way, so when I put them back together they would match up with the mating holes in the chair that were already there. And just kind of setting the screw in there, just having it poke out a little bit so it can find its hole when I put it in there. And I think it looks really good with the shiny silver and blue together. So now I'm doing the seat bottom same way. And then getting the last bits in there. And that is a restored folding rocking chair. This chair is kind of low to the ground, lower than normal, super comfortable. And that's how I made it, or restored it. There's the old one, there's the new one, and in front of the backdrop. Looks really good. I think the client will be thrilled. And thanks for watching. You can watch a couple other videos here and subscribe.